And welcome into Extra Time, where FC Naples is celebrating 4th of July with a rematch against their rivals to the north, the Tampa Bay Rowdies. I'm Ryan Kruger, and the last matchup between these two teams was unbelievable. It ended in 10 penalty kicks. Unbelievable game. So, for this week's edition, I'm speaking to the man who was quite literally in the line of fire. Here's goalkeeper Lalo Delgado. I think you were going to have to take the next penalty kick, if I'm not mistaken, after that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a wild match. What was that like for you to be? I mean, you were literally in the line of fire as guy after guy was coming up. What was that like for you?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was, first of all, when we get to that position, just individually, I want to, be there for the guys. The guys have ran for 95 minutes plus. I know they're tired. It was a difficult game, a difficult opponent. So just on the individual level, just want to be there for them, make a save. Thankfully, I was able to make one in the first five, I believe. But then we ended up hitting the crossbar, I believe. So yeah, it dragged out a bit, right? I know some of our fans were like, kind of like, what's going on here? But no, yeah, I mean, I think as a club, we were happy with how we performed, but when you go that far, you always want to, pick up all 3 points. And it's something that we take it with a grain of salt. We're okay, we played well, but we could have gotten all 3 points there.
hmm when you're standing there in the goal and you've got all these guys going for penalty kick, because everybody's got a different strategy. Some guys try to do a little trickery. Some guys just kick that ball as hard and as fast as they possibly can. What are you doing as the goalkeeper here? Are you trying to read their hip movement, or what are you trying to do?
See, you're trying to get me in trouble right now. No, no, I mean it's a little bit of both. There's a lot of studying that goes with the front staff. A lot of video, a lot of yeah, just like you were studying on their past penalties, their key penalty takers, maybe their last five penalties, where have they gone? Where have they gone? What's the average that they go to the right compared to the left? Looking at the run up, the way they run up to the ball. So you have all that in your mind, right? And you say, okay, number 10, if he tends to run like this, he'll shoot this way. If he puts the ball down a bit quicker, there's a lot of keys, right? But at the end of the day, it comes down to your gut. There's times where what's written on the bottle, yeah, it's a lot that goes into it, but it can easily go the other side. So it comes down to intuition and gut. Um, and I mean, just working hard on it and seeing what we can pick up on as far as being key factors. But yeah, I would put majority of it on the gut and intuition of it.
Mhm. Of course, this match is going to be in the Jägermeister Cup, and you are a reigning Jägermeister Cup champion with your former club, Northern Colorado. Tell me about the Jaeger Cup. What is that like? Because obviously it's a tournament, so it's not league play, so it's a tournament, and you're playing with all sorts of teams that you may not normally play against. What was your experience like playing in the Jaeger Cup last year?
Oh no, I mean, yeah, last year the biggest difference is that now we have championship sides that are part of it. Last year was all League One, right? So um yeah, I mean, a lot of teams took it very serious. They were putting on a full-on team because at the end of the day, everyone saw it as hey, it's a trophy to win. It's a trophy to add to the cabinet, to the trophy case. It's a trophy you can put on your resume. So, I mean, the level never really dropped. It was always high intense level and really good teams going at it constantly. But yeah, then you have the factor of no overtime. Then you have the factor of what the wild card is for the team that scores the most goals. So the game is a bit more direct, a bit more lively, which I think all in all is the purpose for the fans, right? More attractive game with a lot of goals and whatnot. Which as a goalkeeper, we hate that, right? um, but but no, last year was amazing. We went on a run. We actually went undefeated throughout the whole tournament. So it it was great to say the least, on an individual level. But no, I mean, I think the biggest takeaway of it was we didn't see it as oh, it's a Jaeger game, it's not a League One, it doesn't count as much. No, every game was met with great professionalism. And, at the end, we knew we wanted that trophy. So thankfully, we were able to accomplish that in a penalty shootout. But yeah, no, I think the biggest takeaway was that, you know, each game the level never dropped, both with the opponent and with ourselves. And then now you look at this year, you have championship sides coming in. Maybe they can have a different perspective. Oh, we're playing a League One team, but I think as far as our experience, I think we've gained a bit of a respect, having a good result against Charleston, going toe to toe with Miami. I think Tampa knows it's not one of those where we're playing a League One side. Let's put a couple guys that haven't played. It's gonna be a really good match, I would say. I mean, it's gonna be met with a lot of intensity.
Let's talk about you growing up. So obviously you're from a soccer family. You started playing soccer at a very young age. Was it your father who got you to love the game?
Yeah, yeah. With my siblings, I'm the youngest one of three, so even my sister, they were big into soccer. But yeah, I kind of just grow up. As soon as I can walk, I could kick a ball, I guess. They would put a ball right in front of me, and part of my stride was to, lift the leg up with power. So, yeah, no, it was instilled through my dad, though. He's the one that came with the football background comparison to my mom. But yeah, he was big on you know, you'll play a sport, but I'm picking and it's going to be soccer.
And you guys still talk today, right?
Oh yeah, we just came back from California, and it was the first time actually seeing me play in a professional match. It didn't go as we planned, but it was great to just have them there and be able to experience that. So yeah, 6 years in my career, and this was the first time they saw me play.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's very special. That's awesome. Of course, your father, he was childhood friends growing up with Rafael Marquez, who, of course, I assume that's probably got to be a hero of yours, probably arguably the greatest Mexican soccer player of all time, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. And he carries that resume, playing with one of the greatest teams of Barcelona, one of the best lineups they've had. Yeah, they grew up in the same town, same neighborhood. They would go out and play pickup. Same thing. Unfortunately, my dad was met with a pretty career-ending injury, so I kind of left him back. But I mean, in their town every day. It was there. It was them playing out there with a couple of other guys. But yeah, I mean, and he told us all those stories growing up. So yeah, growing up, it was cool to kind of have that for you know uh just that experience with my father. But then you look at him and he's playing in one of the best teams in the world during that time. Yeah, so it was insane.
Hmm. Let's talk about your role here with FC Naples. Now, you're the captain of the team. You're the goalie of the team. I mean, look through your resume. You're a two-time goalkeeper of the year finalist. You actually have the USL League One record for what was it, 13 clean sheets in 1 year, which is unbelievable. So, what is sort of your role? Do you view with FC Naples besides just being the goalkeeper, which is obvious, more of like the leadership, the mentorship?
Yeah, I mean, it came into it with just having that leader. I mean, if you look at our roster, we have a lot of young guys. Not only are they young, a lot of their being their first time year as a pro. So it's you take on that role of being a leader a bit more serious, even more, because you see that these younger guys, it's their first experience, it's their first everything. Then you add on with the being the club's first inaugural year, it's a good amount of pressure, right? But I think you try not to steer into different directions, and you stay true to yourself, and you try to be a leader in the way that you are. You don't want to go and try to act and be someone you're not. I think that's been the biggest thing I've been kind of hanging on. I mean, I tell myself, I've gotten this far being the way I am. So, continue that and put on that leadership role for the younger guys.
I want to ask you this: when you are in, you're right there in the goal, because sometimes you'll notice it'll be like eight guys right around you, and it looks intense, and you got to kind of have to look for that ball and see where it is, and you throw it out, and it's. I mean, what are you feeling when that is? Is that like a lot of? Are you just pumped up when you're there, or are you more calm? You're trying to see things go through.
Complete honesty. I mean, I wish I could make this way more dramatic for you, but I kid you not, when all that's going on, it's silent. I don't hear the crowd. I don't hear anyone. It's just kind of taking my steps one by one. kind of seeing where I should be, what positioning I should be, in accordance to where our defenders are, what we know about the team, what they're good at, what we can try to eliminate. So yeah, it's kind of just full focus. Everything's silent, even though our crowd is amazing.
Yeah.
Our La Barra is extremely loud. So, but yeah, kind of in those moments of high pressure and high intensity, it's kind of just laser focused tunnel vision.
I was gonna say it's pretty impressive to have your back to Labara with all their drums right behind you when they're going, and you don't hear a thing.
To communicate. But it's a good thing. I'm sure it's way louder for the away team.
All right. Let's wrap it up with this. Your time so far with FC Naples. I mean, you're a California kid. Now you're living in Southwest Florida. How's that been?
Yeah, coast to coast. I mean, thankfully, it hasn't been a crazy, crazy change. I grew up in Santa Barbara, so a beach town as well, and then beautiful beach out here. Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I've enjoyed the community, getting to meet various individuals has been amazing. Like I will say this, the community here in Naples has really taken in the team with open arms, uh, and just very loving. Not to be over exaggerating, but I mean we can be shopping at the market and we'll get recognized, and it's amazing people. Yet to have any negative confrontation. It's been amazing. The community is great out here. They've really taken on the team and made it theirs. So we play with that chip on our shoulder before we step out in the locker room. We know we have a community behind us. So we always want to say, hey, we got to represent them, right? And that's with grit, with hard work, because that's what this community is known for.
All right, so Coach, I think one thing we've learned about this team pretty early on in the season, this team doesn't like going on the road. Another tough road trip, that's for sure. So probably happy to return to Paradise Coast Sports Complex.
Yeah, there's a reason there's a home field advantage, and playing on the surface you're used to and playing in front of your fans. And it seems to be that we really enjoy playing in front of our fans at home. So it's always good to have a home game.
Are you noticing are the pitches different in each place? Are the surfaces a little bit different with each club that you're going on the road?
Yeah, every turf is a little different. Our stadium's turf's a little unique, so that changes it. And then some of the teams have natural grass fields as well, so that obviously plays the ball plays differently as well. But everyone in this league is dealing with that.
It was a tough road trip, but we're coming off of, we're about halfway. We're at about the halfway mark of the season. You're still firmly right there. If the season ended today, you would be in the playoffs. So, are you still feeling good about where you're at in the table and as far as the season is going?
Yeah, I think perspective is important. Um, you know, I think wins can sometimes give you a false standing, and losses can make you sometimes feel like the world is falling. Um, I don't think either is true. I think it's really important that especially with the new team, understanding you're going to have high highs and some low lows, and it's about kind of not overly focusing on the result and more focusing on the process. Right? We can't ultimately win or lose a championship today, but we can make the correct steps, make the right steps to continue to grow, continue to build, continue to learn, to hopefully, make it into the playoffs. And then from there, those are when the results are the most important. So, obviously you never want to lose. It's never fun to lose. But the most important thing is that we're growing every day and staying focused on the controllables, right? You can't always control the outcome of a game, but what inside of the game is the controllables that we can control. And it's really important that we focus on those areas, because that's the things we can improve upon to have success.
As we talk about that last match against Avialta, sometimes you just see where one player just sort of takes this step, sort of almost otherworldly, right? Like that match, it was 1-1. It looked like a pretty tight match. And then their guy comes out and gets a hat trick and takes it over. So I mean, sometimes it's like one player is just going to step up, and it's it happens.
Yeah, and obviously the score line's the only thing that matters. But ironically enough, if you look at the expected goals for the game, we actually had a higher XG rating than the opponent. So again, that's one statistic, but I think score lines sometimes don't necessarily tell the whole story. Although that's the only thing that matters at the end of the day. It's, again, that perspective of we created some really great opportunities early in the first half. We have to be more disciplined, more ruthless to score those, and maybe the score line's different going into half, which forces them to adapt differently, which allows us to adapt differently. And it's taking advantage of the opportunities when you get them.
So let's talk about this weekend's upcoming match on Friday, July 4th. Another rematch against Tampa Bay Rowdies. So developing quite the rivalry here with them. That last match was unbelievable. I mean, 1-1 draw and then 10 penalty kicks, which was just incredible. Does that make you guys feel good? Like, hey, listen, we took this team right to the limit. We can match up with them again.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It should give us all the confidence to know that we can, when we're focused, when we're at our best, we can compete with them. I also think they're going to come out with something to prove as well. Anytime, a higher division team is taken all the way to pens, I think they'll be motivated to show that they also are better than maybe what that scoreline was in going to penalty kick. So I think our guys should be excited. And anytime you get to play against a higher division team, you don't have anything to lose. So you should play with confidence, and especially against a team that we've already played, it should give us all the confidence in the world.
And your goalkeeper Lalo Delgado, he is a reigning Jaeger Cup champion. He won it last year with Northern Colorado. Are you kind of leaning on him a little bit for his leadership skills there?
Yeah, I mean, he's our captain for a reason. He's a leader in the group, and so absolutely, it's anytime you face a little bit of adversity, it's important that leaders lead. Control the controllables and continue to just focus on the process. And he's been great with that and the messaging to the guys and continuing to push them from inside the locker room.
What is your goal then for the next, the second half of the season as we're climbing into it? Obviously, you want to stay kind of where you're at in the table, make sure you're getting into the playoff race, but also development. Like, what are you looking for from the guys for the next half of the season?
Yeah. So one of my favorite quotes is the strength of the pack is the wolf. The strength of the wolf is the pack. And I think that's kind of what we're looking at as a team. One is, are the individuals developing? Are we making our players better on an individual basis? And in doing that, are we making the team better? So it's kind of this individual coaching while team coaching. It can't be one or the other. It has to be both. And for me, process is the biggest sign or building towards success is a byproduct of the process going right. So us making sure that we're developing our players developing, getting better, improving, being challenged, growing, learning, that will be the biggest impact on having success on the field.
Mm-hmm. And then let's go ahead and wrap it up with this, as I want to go back to the Tampa Bay Rowdies game the last time. 10 penalty kicks. Do you have in your mind, first of all, have you ever seen, because I know Lalo was going to have to go next, the goalkeeper was going to have to go next. Has that ever happened to you before, that the goalkeeper is kicking? Because I don't think I've ever seen that before in a game.
Yeah, I actually, with Tony, our other goalkeeper, in an Open Cup qualifier, he stepped up, he saved 2 penalties, and he scored the 5th penalty to advance us to the next round. So I've had goalies take it before. I've also gone to, I think 10 is the most I've gone in penalties. I haven't gone more than 10, which it's a long time to be standing there watching the walk-ups and the shots and everything. It's very nerve-wracking for some people in those moments.
A lot of purists hate the penalty kicks. I'm not a purist. I love the penalty kicks. I think they're exciting for a fan to watch. What are your thoughts? I mean, are you kind of? I know as a coach, you obviously have to. It needs to be incorporated into your game plan. But just as as an outside observer, are you more of a purist? You don't like the penalty kicks, or you think it's part of the game?
It's hard, right? Because it's so different than the game to decide the game. So that is a challenge. At the same time, I don't know what the other solution is, because obviously at some point the amount of minutes on the bodies will lead to a lot of injuries. I'd say this with penalties. I'd say there's usually one team that's happy it's going to penalties and another team that wishes it wasn't. So, if you're hanging on to get to penalties, you're glad you made it there. If you're dominating but just can't score a goal, you're probably upset that it's going to be decided by penalties. So flip of a coin depending on the day.
Join us every week on Extra Time.